1. Glover Teixeira, the old lion who refused to fade. In a sport obsessed with youth, Glover Teixeira became living proof that heart doesn't age. By the time most fighters his age were coaching or retired, Glover was still out there, grinding, bleeding, and refusing to go quietly. After losing his first title shot to John Jones in 2014, Glover's career seemed done. He was 41, slowing down, getting knocked out by younger contenders. The world moved on, he didn't. He rebuilt himself one fight at a time. No excuses, no shortcuts, just grit. Then came 2021. Against all odds, Glover Teixeira submitted Jan Blachowicz to become the oldest first-time champion in UFC history. It wasn't supposed to happen, but Glover didn't care about supposed to. He'd gone from forgotten veteran to world champion at 42 years old. That wasn't just a comeback, it was a resurrection. Proof that sometimes, time doesn't beat the fighter beats time. 2. Michael Bisping, the one-eyed champion. Michael Bisping was always the loudmouth Brit who almost made it, always close, never crowned. And then tragedy hit. After a brutal head kick from Vitor Belfort in 2013, Bisping suffered a detached retina. Doctors told him he could lose his vision entirely. He went through surgeries, pain, and years of fighting half-blind. People told him to retire. He refused. He kept grinding, taking tough fights, never saying no. Then out of nowhere came his second chance, a short-notice title shot against Luke Rockhold. Nobody gave him a chance. But Bisping, fighting with one working eye, landed that legendary left hook and shocked the world. From near blindness to middleweight champion, it wasn't just a comeback, it was cinematic justice. Michael Bisping didn't just win a title, he won his story. 3. Robbie Lawler, from washed up to war king. At one point, Robbie Lawler was done, released from the UFC, written off as an explosive brawler who never lived up to his potential. But something inside him refused to die. He reinvented himself, came back to the UFC leaner, meaner, and smarter, and then he went to war over and over again. Johnny Hendricks, Rory MacDonald, Carlos Condit, each fight was a bloodbath, and each one cemented his legacy. By 2014, Lawler did the unthinkable. He became UFC welterweight champion, nearly a decade after being cast aside. But the moment that defined him wasn't the belt. It was the stare-down with Rory MacDonald at UFC 189. Split lip, broken nose, both men drenched in blood, and Robbie smiling. That was the comeback of a man who didn't just survive the chaos, he became it. 4. Nate Diaz, the Stockton resurrection. Before 2016, Nate Diaz was a cult favorite, loved by hardcore fans, ignored by everyone else. He'd lost fights, been cut once, and was seen as a journeyman. Then Conor McGregor called his name, and Nate Diaz changed history. 2 weeks' notice. No training camp. No fear. Conor came in full of swagger. Nate came in full of Stockton. After weathering early bombs, Diaz turned the tide. He bloodied McGregor, took him down, and made the king of trash talk tap out. I'm not surprised, mother-f***ers. That one line, that one night, revived his career, made him a superstar, and turned him into an icon of defiance. Nate didn't just come back. He reminded the world that real fighters don't need hype, they just need heart. 5. Miesha Tate, the queen who refused to quit. Miesha Tate was always in Ronda Rousey's shadow. She fought her twice, lost both times, and watched Ronda become the face of women's MMA. By 2014, Miesha's career seemed to have peaked. Then, like a plot twist nobody saw coming, she found herself in a title fight against Holly Holm, the same woman who destroyed Rousey. For 4 rounds, Tate was behind, outstruck, outmaneuvered, out of time. Then came the 5th round. With everything on the line, Tate dove for a takedown, got Holm's back and locked in a rear naked choke. Holm fought it and went out cold. Miesha Tate had done it. After years of heartbreak, setbacks, and doubt, she was champion. Her comeback wasn't about revenge or legacy, it was about belief. The belief that even when everyone forgets you, you never forget yourself. 6. Charles Oliveira, from Quits Too Easy to King of Chaos. For years, Charles Oliveira was a cautionary tale. Talented, yes, but soft, fragile. He'd quit under pressure, tap early, crumble in tough moments. Then something changed. He started finishing everyone, submission after submission, knockout after knockout. The kid who used to break became unbreakable. When he faced Michael Chandler for the vacant lightweight title, he got rocked badly in round 1, nearly finished. But in round 2, Oliveira came out firing, dropped Chandler, and completed one of the greatest turnarounds in MMA history. From forgotten journeyman to UFC champion, Du Bronx had rewritten his own narrative. He didn't just come back, he evolved. He turned his pain into power, his past into fuel, and his doubters into witnesses. 7. Dominick Cruz, the man who outfought time itself. Dominick Cruz was once the fastest, smartest, most elusive bantamweight alive. Then his body betrayed him. Torn ACLs, multiple surgeries, years on the sidelines, he lost his belt without losing a fight. Commentators called him done. But Cruz refused to be a memory. He spent years in rehab, reinventing his movement from scratch, and when he finally returned, he did it against the best TJ Dillashaw. 5 rounds. High stakes. History on the line. Cruz danced, dodged, and outpointed the younger champion, reclaiming the title he'd been forced to surrender. It wasn't just a comeback fight, it was a fight against time, pain, and fate itself. Dominick Cruz didn't beat TJ Dillashaw that night, he beat every moment that tried to end him. 8. Randy Couture, the legend who wouldn't age out. Most fighters dream of retiring in their late 30s. Randy Couture started winning championships at that age. He was supposed to be done, too old, too slow, too small for heavyweight. But Randy didn't believe in limits. At 43 years old, he returned to heavyweight to fight Tim Sylvia, a man 13 years younger and 40 pounds heavier. In the opening seconds, Couture dropped him with the first punch he threw. For 5 rounds, the veteran dominated, outclassed, and outworked a man in his physical prime. When the belt was wrapped around his waist, the arena exploded, not just for a victory, but for an idea. That experience can still beat youth, that grit can still beat size, that willpower never gets old. Randy Couture wasn't just a fighter, he was proof that comebacks don't have an expiration date. Outro. Comebacks aren't born in glory. They're born in pain, in hospitals, in silence, when the cameras are gone and the body says no. But these 8 fighters heard no 1,000 times and answered, "Watch me." Because in MMA, legends aren't defined by how they win. They're defined by how many times they rise from the ashes. If you loved these savage comebacks, hit that like button, or Glover Teixeira might just make you do hill sprints until you're 42 and still dangerous.